Good morning again. So the title of my talk today is Let Your No Be No and Your Yes, Yes. An interesting title, yes? So one beautiful fall day, a snail was making his way through the forest. Now, since a snail's vision is not the greatest, the little snail was surprised when it bumped into a mushroom, a delicious, nutritious mushroom. Now, he was munching away on this treat when he was surprised when a turtle happened upon the scene and stole his mushroom. Now, he was upset about this chain of events, and the snail contacted the local creatures forest sheriff. And when asked to describe what happened, the snail said, "Gee, I don't know. It all happened so fast." Okay, so that little joke can be used as an example of perspective. What's fast to a snail and a turtle is not fast to us, of course. But today we're going to be looking at that a little differently in a moment. So hold that thought. One of Unity's greatest tools is affirmative prayer, which is also our fourth Unity principle. I pray and I meditate. Affirmative prayer uses denials and affirmations to shift our way of thinking, thoughts that are both a form of prayer and a tremendous tool in transforming consciousness. We've all heard the saying, change your thoughts, change your life. Well, when our consciousness transforms individually, each of us, one by one, our collective consciousness is also transforming. What we do individually as we grow, as we mature spiritually, we are adding to the growth and the spiritual maturity of our planet. So what are denials and affirmations? Well, let's start with denials. Isn't denial a bad thing? If I'm sick, how is my pretending that I'm not sick a good thing? Or if I'm lost, how is my denying that I'm lost helping me find my way? Or if my house is burned to the ground, how is my refusal to recognize the ashes helping me? Well, co-founder of the Unity movement, Charles Fillmore, stated, and you can find this in the Revealing Word, which we probably have in our library, that denial is the mental process. It's the mental process of erasing from consciousness the false beliefs of the sense mind. The false beliefs of the sense mind. The sense mind meaning our physical senses that we use to function on the planet. It's a relinquishment. It's a relinquishment of relying upon our physical senses alone to tell us about our world. In the book, Heart-Centered Metaphysics, Paul Hasselbeck tells us that denial is the ability to let go of old, worn out, negative thoughts, feelings, attitudes, or incorrect beliefs. This also sounds like the power of elimination or release. In the book that Lori is using in the current book study, the companion book to Lessons in Truth, Coming into Freedom, Ruth Miller, the author, says that denial is the first practical step towards wiping out of our minds the mistaken beliefs of a lifetime. We all carry some of those, the mistaken beliefs of a lifetime. You know, there's those messages that we received as true when we were little, in our early adulthood, and onward. Messages that we heard and we believed to be true. So what might some of those mistaken beliefs consist of? All my good, my sense of my well-being comes from my outside world, my job, my position, where I live, what I wear, who my friends are, on and on, that my good comes from the outside world. The things that happen to me in my life define who I am as a person. The things I've done in my life define me. I can never escape the past, whatever it was. Money equates to happiness. Wealth defines success. I am separate from God. God is separate from me. There is evil in the world. There is not enough. There's not enough money. There's not enough food, not enough possessions, not enough time. Not enough. There is so much to fear, to avoid, to be afraid of. The world is not a safe place. I must save and hoard and defend and hide what is mine, or it will be taken away. Wow. Just speaking these statements wears me out. They bring my energy down. Can you feel it in the room wherever you are? How these words, this energy becomes heavier, more dense. That is because you know they are not true. There is a part of you who knows every one of those statements are not true. You could not hear them without a part of you resisting them. It's that resistance that wears us out. We're protecting ourselves, so to speak, from hearing those falsehoods. Bring to mind the image of the little devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, both whispering in your ear. It's comical to think of it that way. It's actually not far from reality. We all have an ego part of us over here that wants desperately to protect us from the world. And it's whispering, it's talking, sometimes yelling into our minds how awful the world is. And fortunately, we also have the angel on the other shoulder, the divine, that knows there is only God, only good, only spirit, and nothing to fear. I can remember this even when I was a very small child, when my mother would say to me, "Life is not fair." I rebelled against those words, even as a very small child. Now, I didn't rebel outwardly. We weren't allowed to do that. But I rebelled inwardly. Sometimes they would make me cry. And as I got older, that crying maybe was only on the inside, not the outside. I refused to accept this statement. As a child, the belief that life was good was much more deeply rooted in me than the words spoken by my mother, bless her heart. It is true. The human condition, human life, is not fair. At times it just is. And my mother's life was far from being an easy one. So intellectually, I can see why she believed this. It also makes me sad for her and for those who live in a fear, lack, reality sense world. I also marvel at her resiliency. We Thoms women are a strong tribe. Divine life, divine truth with a capital T, there is no question at all about fairness because it is all grace. It's all grace. So for all the false statements I made that you just heard, take a moment now in your mind and just say, delete, 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 clean slate. For that is what denials do for us, regardless of what we call reality. So let's look again at those three questions I ask about denials. If I'm sick, how is my pretending I'm not sick a good thing? Well, the denial is actually something like, this temporary condition has no power over the truth of my being. This temporary condition has no power over the truth of who I am. That doesn't mean you might not also take medicine or see a doctor or have test runs. We also rely on support from our manifest world to help us. If I'm lost, how is my denying that I'm lost helping me find my way? Well, the denial might be, I may not know where I am right now, but I know this situation has no effect on my true nature, on my divine self. And we might also pull out our phone and use our GPS to see where we are physically and find our route. And the third one, if my house burned to the ground, how is my refusal to recognize the ashes helping me? Well, the denial might be, this situation does not define my life. My possessions do not define who I am. And we're also taking actions. We've located our family. We're relying on our neighbors. We've called the fire department and our insurance company. Denial is like taking a sharp pin to the balloon of illusion, the illusion of our sense world, of our world here in the manifest, and popping it, taking its power away, reducing it to a shriveled piece of plastic, and understanding that all that was contained in it was air. It was just air. When Jesus was being criticized for not being schooled and yet speaking in the temple and healing on the Sabbath, he told us, and we see this in the Gospel of John, do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment. Right judgment being discerning with wisdom beyond the physical senses, beyond our eyes and our ears. And then following the denial is the affirmation, the statement of clarity, sealing the divine truth. So let's go back to being sick. We say this temporary condition has no power of the truth of my being. And then we can affirm, I am spirit, perfect, whole, and harmonious. My body possesses the wisdom and the strength to heal all things. So we seal that with an affirmation. Being lost. I may not know where I am right now, but I know this situation has no effect on my true nature, on my divine self. And then we affirm, I am wherever I am for a reason. I am strong and wise, possessing the wisdom of the ages. I am one with God wherever I am. And so we seal that affirmation. In our house burning, this situation does not define my truth. My possessions do not define who I am. And then we can affirm, in truth, I am whole and complete just as I am. I am a child of the Most High, loved and adored. I am abundantly blessed. Our denials are stated to help us release our error thoughts about ourselves, about our world, and about our relationship with God. Charles Fillmore says, we cleanse the temple of our mind of these thieves and robbers of our good. That's what these error thoughts are. They are thieves and robbers of our good. They are denying the truth that we know, gently sweeping away the cobwebs. It's not nice to think about those error thoughts as nothing more than cobwebs, nothing more than air. It's as if we're planting a garden, and first we are preparing the soil. We're pulling out the weeds, we're digging out the rocks, we're brushing away the sticks and the leaves out of the garden, getting it ready for the rich, vibrant seeds of life. And those are our affirmations. Affirmations are those seeds. And to take hold, the soil must first be prepared. Our affirmations then cement the divine truth in our mind and our heart with strong, bold statements. We find in the Gospel of Matthew where Jesus says, let your word be yes, yes, or no, no. He is speaking about swearing falsely when he's speaking to his followers. He's saying, make it simply yes or no. Don Miguel Ruiz of the 4 Agreements, which is now the 5 Agreements, would say, be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity, speak the truth, because your words have power. Speak them with assurance. This is not woo-woo stuff pasted on top of our pain. Our human conditions are very real to us, often incredibly painful. And we know that is not the totality of who we are. Our human condition is not the totality of who we are. Our denials and affirmations help us move from that heavy, feet like clay experience of our physical world and remind us of who we are in truth, in spirit, in the divine. We might have affirmations surrounding us to remind us who we truly are, to remind us of our truth. Might be on your coffee mug, on a kindness rocks, on affirmation cards or affirmation flags like we have the ones displayed today in front of the piano. You might have your daily word. Your daily word every day is an affirmation. You might have the larger print version like I have. For Denny, who's studying Spanish, has a Spanish version, or you might have it on your phone or your computer or your iPad. Today is, as Aaron read, assured by my awareness of God's presence, I move with ease and grace through whatever the day brings. That's what these denials and affirmations do for us, so that we remember when we're sick, that we can affirm our good, that we can remember when we're lost, that we can calm ourselves and then pick up our phone and find the GPS, that we can remember when we have a crisis to calm ourselves and reach out for the help that we need. I love this cup because it's got hearts all around it. It's one of my favorite affirmations to have around. I also have these beautiful affirmation cards, angel cards, this little kindness book that I have displayed that was a gift from Nemo. We have these things around us to remind us, to affirm for us the things that our minds forget, to remind us of our truth. We are spiritual beings, having a human and a divine experience on this planet we call Earth, and this time we call 2022, wherever we may be. So let's get back to our little snail friend. He's called the local forest authorities. He's made his report, as poor of a witness as he might have been, and then he lets go. He does not remain mired in the muck of the physical world. He does not hang on to what has been done to him. He does not allow himself to remain a victim. He might say, losing that mushroom has no effect on my life. That mushroom was not the source of my good. So there's his denial. And then he might say to himself, the forest is full of delicious mushrooms. There's no lack. God is my source. There's the affirmation. Denials and affirmations. You see, denials did not stop our little buddy, the snail, from seeking relief from his loss. He's aware that there are rules in place for this sort of thing. And he does his duty, so to speak, by reporting that turtle rascal. All of life is subject to the laws of cause and effect. There may be serious consequences for that thieving turtle. But none of that is in the mind of the snail. He let go. He moved on. The same is true for us in human form. There are times when we may rely on man-made laws for relief and support. And who are we to deny someone who breaks the law the consequences of their action? We at times need to rely on man-made laws and processes to live in this human condition. We also take actions personally. We might purchase a life insurance plan or health insurance or homeowners or renters insurance. That is not delving into fear, but that is good stewardship, taking care of our health and our things. You've heard the saying, I know, that when you want a new car, you take care of the car you have. You wash it, you vacuum it, you clean the windows inside and out. You might even polish it. You're showing the universe that you are a good steward of everything that you have been blessed with. We probably lock our doors and our homes, not because we're rooted in fear, but because we're aware that in the human condition in which we live, not everyone honors what is not theirs. Denny and I usually only lock our doors when we go to bed, for that's truly when we're the most vulnerable. I remember when my oldest daughter, Lindsay, went away to college. In her senior year, she was renting a house with her friends, and she would go for a run in the morning and come back, and the door would be locked. And she wasn't used to that, because growing up, we only locked our doors when we retired for the night, when we went to bed. And each person has a measure of what their safety valve looks like. 4 young college girls living on their own. As a mom, I was glad to hear they were keeping their doors locked all the time, even though that wasn't something that I taught my daughter. As a community, we insure this building from fire and theft. We have trustees insurance. We do background screenings on ministers like myself and on everyone who works with our youth. That is not out of fear, but out of responsible stewardship. We, the Board of Trustees, and myself have been taking a deep look at our peace and safety policies. Remember, our above and beyond matching fund for 2021-2022 listed security as being one of the areas of focus. We have researched extensively, interviewed local places of worship and other Unity churches, watched videos, had an inspection of our space with recommendations, and looked at various options for your safety and security. Also, looking at what is the least invasive to you as a community, and also what is within our funds to do. So today we're going to look at our process in the case of a fire, and we have some helpers in the sanctuary for this. Sherry, if you'd come up front, and we have Janet and Kevin in the back. There are fire extinguishers located in 3 locations convenient to the sanctuary. One is up front on the podium that Sherry will show you. Right here. There's also a fire exit right there on the podium, which you may not notice under an exit sign. So that is one way that we can exit the sanctuary if we should have a fire or other emergency. We have a fire extinguisher by the door leading out to Virginia on the side. In case of a fire, we would also exit out that door. And if that door is locked, you would just reach up and turn the latch to the left, and you can exit that door. We also have a fire extinguisher available in the kitchen. And if you were in that back area, you would follow the exit sign that leads into the lobby and out the front door. In the case of a fire, if it appears minor, allow our Sunday celebration team to use the fire extinguishers unless you've been trained on their use also. Most of the congregation, please exit safely out of one of those 3 doors and call 911 for the fire department. If it appears major, everyone get out of the building, head for the nearest of these 3 exits and call 911. Please do not exit from either of the fellowship room outside doors. We do have fire extinguishers, 2 of them, in our fellowship room, but please do not exit those doors in case of a fire or other emergency. If you take the one closest to the kitchen in the fellowship room, you'll end up in the back of the building with a tall locked gate. We don't want that to happen facing Virginia. If you go around to the right and around the building, it will come out on the front near the bike rack, but again, there's a locked gate. So exit out of one of the 3 from the sanctuary. Thank you, my helpers this morning in the sanctuary. Throughout the month of September, we'll be reviewing our full peace and safety policy. Your Board of Trustees wants you safe and at peace anytime you are on the church grounds. We know too that this building is not the source of our good, yet we want to be excellent stewards of all that's been given to us, which includes all of you that are a true blessing, to honor you, to take good care of you, to allow you to continue to bless us as we bless one another. We know that we are children of the Most High, absolutely abundantly blessed and abundantly loved. We know the universe loves, adores, and supports us in all ways, always. our affirmative prayer, our denials and affirmations. Let your no be a true no. Negate what your physical senses are trying to tell you is real, what your old, worn out beliefs tell you is real, and that any situation has power over your divine self. And let your yes be absolutely yes, absolutely, affirming what you know to be the truth in the divine. And so it is. God bless you.